This is a CC Radio podcast.
Welcome to the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast. This week we're going to review Stranger Things Season 3 for you. My name is Wayne.
And my name is Paul. And straight into it then, the first time we're reviewing straight up TV.
Yeah.
On this
and a whole damn
feature
season.
Review format in the whole season, indeed, because we've seen all 8 episodes. Now, for those who aren't aware, Stranger Things is created by the Duffer Brothers. It's had 3 seasons, as we have just implied, and stars Winona Ryder, David Harbour, and then a whole bunch of kids that you will now recognise from all around the place, including Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, and Gaten Manto-Rosaro, and Caleb McLaughlin. And then you get Matthew Modine's and Dacre Montgomery's and Sean Astin's as the light popping up here and there as well.
Yeah, Matt Mod and Sean Astin wasn't in. Yeah, that was last
season.
season.
That was last season.
Of course.
Well, no, Sean Astin was in this season for a very brief bit. And really, it's a sci-fi horror series, and you all know that because you're here listening to it. So how does Season 3 compare to the previous 2 seasons of what is Netflix's biggest streaming show? In fact,
right. Season
3 smashed all records, if you believe the Netflix press release.
Yeah, well, look, it's probably true. I don't care. Whatever. Stranger Things is one of the reasons people got Netflix, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it's certainly a very popular
it was House
show.
Of Cards.
Yeah.
It was, that kind of thing. Did you like it, Paul?
Yeah, I did.
Do you want me to talk about it, or should we just go into it? Do people assume
maybe
people
give a very slight, if you have a story description of the season, the third.
It's 1985 in Hawkins, Indiana, and the summer's heating up, and all the kids from Stranger Things are in Hawkins. There's this brand new mall that they're all going to, and it's the 80s, and what's up? Everything's dynamic. We got Steve working in a damn ice cream parlor with a new girl, and he talks with all the kids as well, but basically everyone is involved with some new growing evil, which is kind of like the initial thing they fought in the previous seasons, but it has evolved. I don't want to say any more than that, otherwise it's going to spoil up things.
Yeah, and I think straight off the bat here, it's going to be very hard to talk about this, apart from maybe just give a quick general impression, just a sort of 30 seconds to a minute, and we go straight to spoilers from here, because we're going to assume, if you're checking this out,
you've seen the season.
Seen it. So overall, generally speaking, Wayne, did you like Stranger Things Season 3, and would you recommend it?
Yes and yes. This season's fucking great. I have not read a lot of other reviews, but I've heard some dissent, and I don't get it. Because most of the cool shit, what it is that what I liked is that when this group pairs off or splits off into sort of these factions, and they all have these competing or concurrent adventures, each one of them is interesting, and in a very different way.
Yeah, I have some qualms about that. So maybe I'm not as red hot as you are.
Well, I think it's very, I know we all say Goonies, Stranger Things, whatever. The idea of kids on a adventure or something is actually quite, speaks to my heart. But more than that, there is actual danger, but it's not presented in such a way where you're generally, you're scared for the characters, which is maybe a good or a bad thing. But I look at this and I go, even though I know Steve might get killed or someone might get this or whatever, I'm not necessarily scared to watch this if I was a kid. I would just be like, ooh, what's going to happen next? It's that kind of tone.
Yeah, this is too horrifying for little kids, though.
Is it?
It's got to be teenagers and above.
Teenagers and above. Okay, got it.
We were having a chat last night with friends of ours, and they're asking, is their 10-year-old ready for it? I'm like, yeah, I think so. If he's already into that kind of thing, like he's watched Jaws and he's watched The Goonies, and yeah, you're probably ready for the next step up. But
this is bigger than The Goonies. Like, it's scarier than The Goonies.
Parental guidance recommended. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, no, fair enough.
I would agree with most of what you said there. I think it was very good overall, but I have some issues. It's not perfect. There are some things that really could be cleaned up to make it better. But definitely recommend. If you've seen the first 2 seasons, of course, you're going to be checking this out, and I would strongly endorse that. If you haven't watched Stranger Things and you're just sort of tuning in for the heck of it, well, go back and check it out because it's well worth a look. Unless you don't like sci-fi 80s throwbacks with horror elements and goodiness all over it.
Well, there are so many nods to 80s films.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that. I want to say that because I've got a list here that I have formulated.
And before we go in, I want to say something else. David Harbour. So David Harbour is so fat and smoking, and he's smoking cigarettes and he's drinking, and he's just disgusting.
The Duffer Brothers have acknowledged they lent a bit too hard on the smoking, and they're going to.
He was smoking. He wake up in the morning, smoke, and I was like, "That's pretty."
It was the 80s.
I know, and that's authentic, and that's good. And to be fair, I actually like David Harbour being so slobby. It's just good. They even call him Fat Rambo. And that's really quite
There's
good.
reference number 1.
I exactly. And I do wonder why, I don't know. He really pushed that hard. Maybe because he couldn't be bothered getting into shape for the role, and he's like, "Screw it, I'm going to just lean into it."
Well, he didn't have to be in shape for Hellboy because that was all the suit, I would imagine. So,
Well, I think the fact that he's that because he's such a big fat guy, but he still can hold his own in a fight, kind of thing, is very. I don't know. I like that aspect of it.
sure.
So,
All right,
yeah.
well, look, we're getting into details now, so let's hold off and do
Okay,
this.
okay.
There it is, a hard recommend from the countdown. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and do that. And thanks for tuning in this far. If you've seen it, get on board for the rest of it on this side of the spoilers. All right, what do you want to start with? The positives?
Yeah, okay. Tell me what you liked about this movie, or this show, this season.
Overall, I think it was pretty well paced
Yeah.
for the most part. It did take a little while to get going,
Yes, would agree.
and that's normally the case. So you got 8 episode arc, and they've gone back to 8 episodes after the 9 episode second season wasn't as well received.
Ah,
And that's because they added that extra sort of spin-off episode with 11 running off to find her mum and ending up with some of the other test subjects and them forming their own little
yes.
X-Men group type
I
thing.
didn't really like that. Yeah.
No, it got a lot of... That was, I think season 2 is the most divisive or divisive of the seasons because some people love the shit out of it and other people got really dark on that kind of element.
I think I liked it. I think I was on the. I must have liked season 2.
No, I like them all. And
Yeah.
it's hard for me to separate them out. Probably season 1 was the best for me.
Yeah, because it was so.
It's new
Yes.
and unique and different, and the Upside Down was whatever. But I'll tell you what, the other thing which is fantastic about this season is, gee, the production value's gone through the roof.
And now let's talk about that because I was watching it and enjoying it sort of subconsciously. I was sitting there looking at it, going, "Oh, this is quite nice to look at," and it almost reminded me of Gremlins 2. No, because
Get off your Gremlins 2
I
horse.
love Gremlins 2. Okay,
Fuck's
it was in the
sake.
city. There was a fucking ninjas and shit. It was great, right? No, but it looked good, man. And the city lights in the dark look good. I like that shit. The mall, the neon. I'm a bit of a bitch like that.
Sure, and I agree with all that, except I think the actual special effects were incredible in this season. It really looked great the way they rendered the Mind Flayer in our world, the construct of it.
Yeah, you look
The
good.
exploding rats that became a small mini Mind Flayer,
Yeah.
and then the exploding goop people.
Goop people
that became-
crawls together,
yeah.
like Terminator.
Yeah, actually, more like the Blob, which is
Oh,
from
is that what they were doing?
the 80s.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a 50s film originally, so you could say it throws back all that far if you want. But it looks fantastic. And that fight in the mall that they have with it in the last episode, gee, it looked good. In
The
the bright
fireworks?
lights, and then they're throwing the fireworks. The kids that was awesome.
That was sweet to watch, and I was totally like kicking. I don't know. I just liked that aesthetic as well. So I mean, that totally.
Nice. And my only problem with the special effects was the car accident bit where, the car ramming the car bit where Billy's about to ram them, and then
Or at the end.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the way the car flew away from.
I'm gonna watch that again now because I did not notice any problem except like he intersected way too close to her for that to have been an effective move.
Yeah, maybe that's
Like-
what it was. It just didn't look
Yeah,
realistic.
because that would have been weird.
Yeah, okay, so that's the special effects. I think that was all excellent, and the production design, as you said, great. Or we both said the new characters.
Okay,
I mostly dug them.
I did not dig one.
Who?
This is a little fucking girl. She gave me the shits, man. She's a little smart ass.
That's what she's meant to be.
What was her name?
Erica.
Erica.
Hey, you can't have America without Erica.
Shit like that. Shit like that annoyed the piss out of me. And I'm like, shut up. She's so snarky.
Yep.
Like, she's always like, it's all right if she was cool and like flipping, like, turning a phrase. She was just a little shit. I was like, eh.
I love the bit when Dustin's explaining to her everything to get her involved. And it's like, there's this alternate reality and there's this monsters trying to take over the world, kill us all. And did it. And she's like, and my brother was involved. The only thing she couldn't buy was whatever his name is. Lucas was involved in this.
As a man who's had lip from his little sister as a child, I feel his pain.
Oh, is that what it is here?
I don't know. Maybe that's got something to do with it, man. I'm sure.
Yeah, I can see a bit of your sister in Erica.
Yeah, little fucker, right?
Yeah, what about Robin? How'd you go with her?
Robin, loved her. Love that she's a lezo.
Yeah, I think that was... I wouldn't call her that. I love that she was gay, yes.
No, but like I did not pick that, and that's to me when that moment happened, and he's like basically cracking onto her,
Yep.
and you think it's the thing she always wanted,
Yep.
and then she just kind of flips it and goes, "Yeah, I dig chicks," and he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "That's an '80s movie that happened now. That would never happen in the '80s. No one
No
would have
way.
put that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But that's what makes it cool.
Yep.
That's what makes it now.
On the note, and she was a good character, very funny,
Yeah.
made up the group well. That sort of snarky, intelligent, but likable.
Did you like when him and her were drugged in the thing?
Went
right?
on too long.
It went on a bit long. What my problem was that they were mirthful for way too long, and,
Yeah.
it started to take away from the scene because
Yeah.
I didn't feel danger for them because they were laughing.
Mhm.
So I'm like, not so much.
Yeah, and also, do you know that's Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's child?
Who? The girl?
Robin, yeah.
Holy shit.
Now you think about it, can you see both of them in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they should have put that in the credits. I would have watched harder. I don't know.
Sure, okay. What else? Okay, you mentioned the different adventures.
Yes.
Most of them I liked.
Which one did you dislike?
Nancy and Jonathan.
Did you?
Yeah, I was...
I didn't like Dustin and fucking Erica.
Well, okay. So we kind of had 5 stories going in the first couple of
it's a lot.
episodes. And the Nancy stuff, even though I like the fact that we're playing up that women in the 80s in the workforce don't get...
Oh, you mean the newsroom and she's trying to be the...
Jake Busey was there being his assholish self, and that was fun.
That was hilarious. Oh, Jake Busey's got a job. Fantastic.
But I just thought overall they added very little. And like that whole arc could very easily be rewritten to not matter at all, really.
Or it could have just been one scene. Like, it could have been one scene where everyone disrespects her. Fuck these guys. Boom, goes and does some shit. Bit back. I don't know. I suppose it gives her character depth.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I'm saying apart from that element too, but in terms of the storyline of the Mind Flayer, they do almost nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
And then they end up hooking up with the kids, and now that becomes 4 sort of storylines.
The best thing about the show, I think the moment where I swelled a little bit was when what's his name? The sheriff and Winona Ryder come in. Hopper, yeah. They come in and he steps on the little piece of thing that's scrolling away, and then finally he's reunited and they all sort of turn up together. Then it's like, because the whole show, they're all broken off, and the mom doesn't even get in touch with her kids. Like, Winona Ryder doesn't even know where the fuck they are.
You were about Joyce. How about Dustin's mum?
Dustin, where the fuck is that bitch?
He disappeared.
She doesn't give a fuck.
He disappeared and was trapped in the Russian base overnight. Yeah, there's no scene of Dustin's mum going mental or anything.
Exactly. No, it's like, well, I'm sure he's with his friends. Yeah. And he is.
All
the parents are shit in this movie.
Pretty much. Joyce is the only one. Joyce wanted to go back. She was worried about the kids. Hopper's like, they'll be fine. Hang on, aren't you the guy whose daughter died, dude? I'm not sure you have any say in this.
Exactly.
That was a bit rough.
No, it's fine.
I really dug David Harbour this season. I think he got to act a bit more. He was feeling again. He was showing emotions again, so he's taking it a bit over the top. 3 inches. I'm practicing that shit.
That's right. No, I reckon he's cool too. Like I do like.
There's something about him. Yes, he's overweight and he holds it, and he's just got this great charisma that he exudes. He was my favorite character this season. I think Steve was my favorite character in the second season because he'd arced so far away from being the asshole he was in the first.
Absolutely.
This season, I think they really neutered him too much. He never gets out of the stupid sailor uniform, so he always looks like a cockhead.
That's right. That's a really big problem. And the fact that he was supposed to be the heartthrob in 1 and kind of 2, and now no one wants to fuck him at all.
Yeah, and yet she makes the point, the video store dude at the end, saying hire him and chicks will come in. Yeah, and you can't keep up with them all.
Exactly, not according to this season.
And I'm like, yeah, they really have made him seem like he's sort of the sad comic sidekick guy now.
And yes, exactly. And speaking of the heartthrobs, I have such a problem with who's the good look, the one that all the women are trying to fuck, this lifeguard dude.
Oh, Billy,
right? Yeah. Because he looks ridiculous with his hair and his mo and his bad teenage mo.
May I now point out yet another of the homages it was doing. So he gets out of the pool in super slow-mo.
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Phoebe Cates?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
And was it normal for mums in the 80s to rock up down the pools and have their high heels on and their makeup fully in place while wearing their one-piece and it was swimsuits?
And it's a public pool as well?
Yeah. I don't remember that shit at all.
I definitely didn't happen when I was around. And I actually quite liked him after a while, though. Because he was the dick in the second season.
Yep.
And now, because he was all integral and getting in, fucking
taken
over by that thing. I don't know. I think he did a very good job.
Yeah, I think he was good on it. He's physical. He's menacing.
He is. He looks scary. And
when they had the big fight in the sauna thing, that was great. It was a great scene. Sort of things really amped up from that point in the series. That was sort of the go point.
One of my cousins said that the mom that he almost banged looks like an old Buffy in a hot way. That's what I've heard. Mike T said that.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Let you know.
Yeah. Look, overall then, other than that, I think this season was a lot more adult. I guess a little bit like what I understand how Harry Potter works. As the kids age, they're aging up the themes. So there's more death in this season.
Kissing and stuff.
Yeah, but there's more death in this season. Lots of characters die. I mean, 31 of them die to make the Mind Flayer.
Oh yeah, of
course.
Is a stat they're mostly
they're bit players. But then we have Alexi dies. Hopper dies, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Yes.
And that's a big moment. So
I mean, do you think David Harbour is like, it's okay, man. I got all that Hellboy money. I can leave this show.
Well, you obviously watched through the end. You saw the epilogue. You saw the credits. You saw the
I
scene.
did.
Okay, so we go to a Russian gulag
Yes.
and leave the American alone.
Yes.
right?
Now, presumably that's him. Is that what you're saying?
David Harbour, in an interview with Slash Film, basically said, yeah, it's me.
Don't do that, David. We need to know shit later. Okay.
Which is interesting because we spend a good 15 to 20 minutes after he dies really sending him off on a really positive note. Now, I was dark when he died because he was, as I said, my favourite thing of the season. And I could see it. I turned to Patsy at the start last when he's saying goodbye to Elle, or see you later to Elle. I'm like, they're going to kill him. She's like, what? I'm like, yep, they are. Listen to the music.
Automatic.
They're shaping to kill him. They're setting every note here. And as soon as he went in there and then started fighting the Terminator dude, I'm like, oh, he's fucked. So I was really dark about that. The best bit of his whole thing, though, the moment I'm like, yeah, was back in the fun park.
Yeah. Oh, when he
And he just comes out and just shoots that dude. Bang, 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 bang. Shoots him 5 times. And had he not had armor on, he'd be dead. I'm like, that was awesome. No messing around anymore.
What about...
No freeze. Put that down. No, just shot him.
What about when he took out the 4 fucking Russian soldiers?
Yeah. And that was,
boom, boom, oh shit, he's a fucking badass.
Then I was 100% sure he was going to die at that point because, all right, now we're mowing down people.
Yeah.
He's toast.
I didn't think about that. No, I was surprised to find that out. And also, what did we think about Terminator Guy?
Oh, clearly, cast, haircut.
He actually
clothes.
looks like kind of like Arnie.
Yeah, they've totally gone for him.
Which is, I think I enjoyed that. I think I quite liked it because it obviously wasn't a side rogue or whatever, but it was cool.
Yep, that was great. I like the Alexi. And we haven't mentioned, what was the guy who came back? Barry? Murray. Sorry.
Which one's Murray?
Murray's the bald dude who can speak Russian.
Yeah, he's the shit.
He was awesome.
He's almost MVP.
He was good.
Like, for real. I actually really liked him, and he was kicking it. What's his name, Dave? I can't remember his name.
In real life, I don't know.
Yeah, but I actually always enjoyed his work. He's a real...
Good character actor.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. Made a few good cracks. And I like the way that in season 2, he was the guy that basically called Jonathan and Nancy out in their shit. Just said, you two love each other. Fucking get on with it. And now he's saying the same thing to Joyce and Hopper.
And
they're like...
But that was a good moment when he's at the back of the Lexi and he's like, these two aren't sleeping together?
I must admit, to come back, I know we're jumping around a little bit here, sorry. To come back to the epilogue, I thought it was so emotional. It was the letter that he wrote that we never got to hear because Mike was being such a dickhead and so was Elle. And he just loses his shit and just threatens him instead. Which, by the way, how perfect is it that 13-year-olds haven't worked out? You just say, your dad threatened to kill me, I'm going to have to lay low for a while.
Exactly. He could have just said that like you don't blame your dad.
Making up some bullshit excuse and then allowing Elle to basically break up with him because he's lying to her. Friends don't lie.
Yeah, I think, speaking of Elle, Millie Bobby Brown, wonderful actress, I would say. She's really, really good. I mean, I know she's playing one thing, but I believe it each time. So I'm down.
Yeah, I also think it was very brave, plot-wise, to take her powers away, because that's the instant fix.
Now, I got some questions. Is that what happened at the end? How did she lose her powers? Because she was fighting the thing?
And I think the thing got in her leg.
And then she pulled it out with the thing, but then it fucked with her thing?
I suspect it infected her in some way and neutered her powers, and it was the last of her power to rip it out of her, and it just drained her completely. So
is that why she was
one
all
or two things?
up?
Either she was and it can't be a drain her completely like a battery, because we see 3 months later, whatever, she hasn't got her powers still. She still can't move the teddy bear.
Yeah.
So I think it's effectively blocked her powers or neutered them for whatever reason. Of course they'll come back, and they'll come back at just the right moment to save whatever. So, but that was brave then, because now we have to have a different solution than just her hurling the car at the 10 dudes who are about to shoot everyone else.
She couldn't move the car when they were in the mall later on.
No, she hurled it before she lost her powers.
Yeah,
and then she couldn't move the car out of the way for whatever they needed to get out of the ignition lead or on the car.
Right. Yeah. Shit. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I think we've hit all on the things I liked. I do like Steve and Dustin together. I think they are pretty good.
Yeah,
I liked Eric a lot more than you did. The negatives then, Wayne. Any negatives we haven't mentioned?
Okay. There was a moment where this could have been good if they just didn't drag it out, and then it became bad.
Never ending
story. Okay, so when it happened, he's like, and then she joined in, and I really liked it for 3 bars.
It's a perfect example of being so happy with your joke, you just went round with it.
Yes, no, someone said edit that bit. No, I want the third line. Like that.
The Duffer Brothers, absolutely. Apparently, Dustin Glenn or whatever his name is in real life, he's actually a Broadway he sang on Broadway.
I fucking believe it. I
or
totally believe it.
Yeah, and so obviously they wanted to work that in somehow.
That's actually, now I do like that. I didn't know that he was actually a singer, and that because when he sang, it was so good. I was like, oh, that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
So, but then when they just went for like a whole verse and a fucking
How did Murray, of all people, not just go, kids, we're all gonna fucking die?
Exactly.
Because
Shut
he
the
was
fuck
calling
up.
everyone else out for their shit. Why didn't he say it to them?
But they also started sweeping the camera and shit, which gave me the shits.
Yep.
I was like, check it. No, guys, the joke is over now. Cut it back.
It's
They did cut it off. I thought they were gonna do the whole song. So
It's a good minute 20 or so.
It's fucking too long. I
And
was like,
everyone's in dire peril. And
Exactly.
no one says, guys, we're about to die.
exactly. This every second counts. You
Yeah.
stupid singing bitches.
So that they can hear you. So Susie Q's having her moment. Okay, Susie, sing later. Can you please just give us the
The
whatever
fucking code, which
yeah.
is gonna save the world. Thank
Yep.
you. Yeah, that was one problem that I had. I did actually like the girl though. The Susie Q, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, she was cute. The whole relationship between them is kind of cute. The fact that she ended up being real. I'm like,
I had no
oh,
doubt she was real.
Really?
Never, and I knew exactly what was going to come back in the last episode. It would
See,
be
you
confirmed.
know this shit, man. You should write
No doubt.
more.
Yeah. Look, the other person I think Will just is, they don't know what to do with him anymore.
He is all he does is sit there and quiver and cry.
Yep.
Right?
And whinge.
And I know it's like, I think what they're using him for is he's like the PKE meter of this thing.
Mhm.
Like you can tell
But
when
that's
the
it.
thing's
That's
close.
it. That's all he does.
It. I
and
know.
bitch and moan. Now, here's a question.
Yeah, he pisses and moans a lot.
Did Lucas make a subtle allusion to him being gay or just not mature enough to like girls yet?
I had to think he was mature enough.
Right.
But I would love to think that he was gay. Do you know what I mean?
Why not?
Like, no, it's a good thing. And that would, again, another thing you wouldn't see in the 80s
No,
like that. You
if
know?
it was made back then, probably
That's
not.
what I like.
But now, how good
yeah,
is it?
that
Yep.
makes it good that they're doing that.
Yep.
So
I'd be interested to see if that. I wondered at that moment the way it was almost pointed, but then that's never referred to again. So
Well, he was saying he was pissed off that the older boys both had girlfriends, and then they won't play AD&D with him.
I don't know
So-
if it's older boys. They're
So
all
it's
the
just
same
the
age.
boy.
Yeah.
Are they the same age?
Yeah.
He's not twins with him.
Well, the same age. They're all mates in the same class at school.
Oh, he's not his brother. That's right.
No, they look a lot like Mike and
Oh, they're all the same
Ooh.
age. No, this is different now. It could be a gay thing,
I don't know.
or
He's just late to mature.
a
to
loser thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was interesting, I thought. And of course, is Hopper dead? Well, David Harbour seems to have answered that story. That was
Just
Yeah.
based on the situation of the actual production, I could have told you that's one thing where I would have gone like, "Oh, he's gonna die." No, they're not killing him off. Why? Because it's David Harbour. Unless Hellboy hit like a motherfucker, right? He's gonna be in the third season of this massively successful thing where he's the lead. They're not just. They might dust him in season 7, not in fucking now. Right?
Well, there's talk there was only going to be 1 or maybe 2 more seasons, and that's
Really?
it. Yep.
Well, in that case, he definitely is not dying because like
I feel like they're going to bring him. Hopefully, they don't bring him back straight away because that will really just.
it'll be late in the next
Yeah.
season where da-dun, all of a
Yep.
sudden he holds the axe that was about to swing, or something
That type of thing.
That kind of. Well, who knows?
All right, that's really it. That's what I wanted to say about Stranger Things season 3. Anything else from you?
I'm down with that. I think I like the fact. By the way, the radio tower thing in this thing,
Mm.
I like that he's sort of using the radio as the internet. Like that's his. You know, he's like, oh, I don't know the actual number, but I might just radio this woman that does. Yeah, that's good shit. That's what you would do online.
I forgot to mention all the other references and the like. So let's
bring
run down
references.
those and then we'll give our final scores
Hit
for
it.
season 3. Obviously, Never Ending Story, Fast Time Ridgemont High. Day of the Dead was in the cinema
Where?
at the start.
Oh yes,
And
yes.
then, of course, Back to the Future later on. The fact that the Russians, which I haven't even mentioned, the Russians bring them in as the alternate threat, really, apart from mentioning them going to
yeah.
the bunker. That's very Red Dawn,
Very 80s. Very 80s.
Invasion USA.
Totally.
So that was kind of cool. And it's such a perfect thing in the time. So I like the
Yeah.
way they wove that in, the red threat.
And it's actually real now.
There's even a replica of the Beetlejuice gravestone
Is there?
on Mr. Clark's model train station.
Oh, that's good.
That's a really sort of blinking
Oh,
miss
well
at the
done.
moment.
Well done.
And then they've got Jake Busey doing his homage to "Here's Johnny"
Yeah.
when he smashes through the hospital door. One of the
I just realized that's what he was doing. There you go.
So that's just some of them. They're the main ones that I picked up as we.
I quite like that they're doing this. I quite like that they
It's
just
great.
do this
It's just
throwback stuff.
fun to
Yeah.
read into it in that way. Okay, well, final score then for obviously big pros for Stranger Things season 3. I'm going to give this a flat 80.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
Look, I'll be honest with you. Stranger Things actually isn't my things. I don't mind it. It's a good show. I enjoyed this a lot. So I'm going to go 78. It's actually not as good as Paulie.
Okay,
80 is high for you. Shit.
that's a
4 stars, slut.
2 4-stars from us both. Check out Stranger Things season 3 if you haven't already, and thank us later.
Horde.
That is it for us today. If you want to let us know what we've got wrong or missed on this particular review, or indeed just give us some feedback overall, you can hit us up at thecountdownpodcast@gmail.com, old school, or you can send us messages on the Facebook Listener Community link in the show notes, or on Twitter at the Countdown PC. Check out our Australian website, ccradio.com.au, not just for our show, past episodes, but some other awesome shows as well, including the Comic Confidential Boys and Believe. And I think that's just about it.
That's it. Thanks for listening in, kids.
Thanks so much for joining us. Now let's let Dustin and Susie Q take us out with The Never Ending Story.
What are you doing? Oh.
Catch you next time.